Today, President Biden unveiled a new executive action that shields approximately 500,000 immigrants from deportation.
It's one of the biggest announcements for immigration relief, the Keeping Families Together program.
Undocumented people living in America who are married to a U.S. citizen now have a pathway to citizenship.
Supporters say it helps keep families with deep roots in the U.S. from being torn apart.
I see it as life-changing in a positive way for hundreds of thousands of families and people. America is going to be stronger because of this.
While critics describe it as a widespread amnesty.
More than a dozen Republican-led states have filed a lawsuit challenging the legality of the Biden administration's Keeping Families Together program.
So what does this program mean for the hundreds of thousands of families it affects, and how does it even work? The new Keeping Families Together program, also known as the Parole in Place program, basically protects some mixed citizenship families from being separated while they seek to obtain legal status. In June of 2024, the Biden-Harris administration issued an executive order allowing undocumented spouses of American citizens who have been living and working in the U.S. for decades to apply for legal status without leaving the U.S. While marrying an American citizen can provide a pathway to U.S. citizenship, for some, it's not enough to resolve their immigration status. Those who enter the country illegally, rather than arriving with a visa, are often required to go back to their home countries to finish the green card process. But as soon as they leave, they can be immediately barred from re-entering the country for a set period, sometimes out to a decade or even longer. This puts many in a catch-22. They must choose between leaving the United States and risking not being able to come back, or staying in the country without legal status.
These couples have been raising families, sending their kids to church and school, paying taxes, all this time with fear and uncertainty. We can fix that, and that's what I'm going to do today. Fix it.
This is where the Parole in Place policy comes into play. The new program lets them stay in the country while they work toward legal status, offering families a chance to stay together while navigating this complex process. The White House estimates that the program will help around 500,000 immigrants and 50,000 of their children across the country, allowing them to apply for work permits, green cards, and a streamlined path to citizenship. To qualify, applicants must have been married to a U.S. citizen before June 17, 2024, the date the program was announced, have no disqualifying criminal record, and show they've lived continuously in the United States for at least 10 years.
I cried all morning. It's been amazing. It's been a dream come true. It made me feel very hopeful that now we're going to be a normal family.
In August of 2024, several Republican-led states sued, claiming the program is a federal overreach. And while many may think this is a new program, it's not. To see how this program took shape, let's take a look back at the history behind similar policies. One of the first significant uses of parole authority was in 1956, when President Dwight Eisenhower granted parole to 30,000 Hungarian refugees. And later, in the 60s, the U.S. used it again to allow Cuban refugees fleeing the Castro regime to enter the country. More recently, the Parole in Place program has been used to help undocumented U.S. military members and their immediate families stay in the country while they pursue permanent legal status. Advocates say this measure has been transformative over the years, helping keep families together while recognizing the service and sacrifices of their military members. As for Biden's new executive order, it has raised some concerns. Today, critics are labeling the new program as a pull factor, arguing that it could attract even more immigration.
It's like a magnet attracting people into the United States who know that if they wait long enough, President Biden will find some way to allow them to stay.
Additionally, they've described it as a mass amnesty, rewarding unlawful border crossings. However, supporters of the program stress that it's not a mass amnesty, since it only applies to certain individuals, pointing out that it's a targeted effort to help specific families who have been contributing to our society for decades. A study found that, on average, the spouses eligible for this program have been living and working here for 23 years. But while this policy may apply to only certain individuals, financial experts believe it could create a substantial positive economic impact for many. This is especially true for many Latino families who have long contributed to their communities and the economy. This policy offers more than just legal relief. It could open doors to greater economic opportunities. In fact, some estimates show it could increase wages by 14 to 40%, creating a ripple effect in local economies. No matter your stance, the Parole in Place program is a big step for families who have long called the U.S. home. It's more than just policy. It's about keeping families together and valuing their contributions.